Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Robinson again, and we're going to continue our studies. We are reviewing for the Common Assessment, this time for grade 8. So, first question, find the value of 3 to the negative 2nd power times 3 to the negative 8th power, and I notice we have a multiple choice down here selection, so let's see. The rules for the laws of the exponent state when you're multiplying and you have the same base, which is the 3's, we're supposed to add the exponents. So I have a 3 here and a 3 here, so it's going to stay 3. So automatically C and A are out. So now I got to use my rules for adding sign numbers. If you remember the rules, the same signs, I would add the numbers. That would give me 10 and keep the same sign. So this would give me 3 to the negative 10 power, and that would be my answer. So the correct choice would be B. So you got to memorize your rules for sign numbers because it comes back, especially with exponents. Okay, so let's move on. We got correct choice was B. So let's see what else we got here. What is the value of 5 to the negative 2nd power? Well, 5 to the 2nd power, that lets me know that 5 times 5 would give me 25. I know that, but I have a negative exponent here. All that means is take the value, which is 25, make it a fraction by putting a 1 over it, and flipping it upside down, giving it the reciprocal. So this will be equal to 5 to the negative 2. Is the reciprocal of the positive power. So our answer is going to be 1 over 25. So that's going to be the value of that. Now, just because it has a negative sign, don't let that fool you with the exponent, because that means it's a fraction. So be careful. If you know the positive power, then you know it's reciprocal. All right, let's keep moving. Here's an oldie. Negative 5 plus k equals 0. So what would be the value of k? So I'll let you solve that one on your free time. So you got to know how to solve it. And the reason is because we're running into questions where they're going to ask you, how many different answers does this equation have? Does it have one, none, or an infinite amount of answers? Well, I try to see how do these equations look and balance each other, because if they look exactly alike, if this over here is the same as that, we'd be having the same variable. I'll just call it A. It would be the same, so I can put any amount of variable. So let me distribute the 3x, make that 3x, and distribute the 3 to the 5. 3 times positive 5. That would give me positive 15 and a 3x there. So this is the same thing as the other side. So I'm not fooled. So whatever x is going to be on this side, it's going to be the same thing on this side. So when I add 15, I'm going to get the same answer. So there are infinite many solutions to this, because I can use x equal 1, 2, 3, 4. Any value of x I can use. So there are infinite amount of values. So my answer is going to be C. That's because they're the same thing. So when A is equal to A, on the sides are equal, A being any number, you can use any number you want, and there are an infinite amount of numbers. Here's one you can look at. See if these are the same. How many answers does this have? I'd see a negative 4 there, and a negative x. So here's a negative parenthesis x plus 4. So Remember, that's being multiplied by that, so figure it out. How many answers does this equation have? You have 3x equal x plus 4. Remember, get your x's to one side of the equation by subtracting x. Make that 1x. That'll give you 2x equals 4 because the x is up there canceled out. And you should be able to solve that for x. So x will equal to 2. So how many solutions does it have? If you said one solution, you are correct. It only has one solution, and that's x equal to 2. So if we can solve it for one answer, then that means we have one solution. Here's some vocabulary you can look at in the time we play during our game. So here is a question. What is the value of 6.3 times 10 to the 8th divided by 3 times 10 to the 4th? Well, this is scientific notation, and scientific notation lets us know we can separate the coefficients. 6.3 divided by 3, 3 goes into 6.3, exactly 2.1 times. And now the exponents. Well, the exponents in division, I'm supposed to subtract. So I have 10 to the 8th power minus 10 to the 4th power. So I subtract the exponents. So I know it's division, but we subtract the exponent. That'll give us a 4th power there. So our answer is going to be 2 to the 1st power, 2.1 times 10 to the 4th power. And there is a scientific notation. Remember, scientific notation has two parts. The first part between 1 and 10. So this first part here was between 1 and 10, 2.1. And the second part is a power of 10. And remember the rules. Divide the coefficients, which is what we did here, and subtract those exponents, which is what we did here, when the bases are the same. Okay, very good question. All right, here's a question from way back. And we have the expression 5x to the 6th, y to the 2nd, divided by x to the 8th, y is equivalent to, so we have to do some division. And if you remember, I said subtract those exponents. So I have an imaginary 1 here. 5 divided by 1 will give me 5. And now I'm supposed to subtract my exponents. 6 minus 8 will give me a negative 2. So I have x to the negative 2. And again, my y's, I'm going to subtract my y's. So y 2 minus, and if you don't see the 1 up there, I'll put it there. Y to the 1 gives me just one little y. So that would be my answer, but I'm going to make it a little bit better because I don't really like that negative exponent. So that negative exponent means that it is the reciprocal of the positive exponent. So I know x squared, if I put a 1 underneath it and flip it upside down, I'll have 1 over x squared. So I'm going to put this as 5 times 1 times y over x squared. And this will equal to 5y over x squared, which is going to be my answer. So that one was a good one. So make sure you know you got to subtract the exponents when you're dividing. And if you get a negative exponent, which sometimes happen, just make that the reciprocal of the positive exponent. Good question. What is the product of 6 times 10 to the third and 3 times 10 to the second in scientific notation. All right. Well, again, we're dealing with scientific notation, so we're going to take the coefficients, which is 6 and 3, and multiply them. 6 times 3 gives me 18. And then I'm going to take the 10 to the third and 10 to the second and add the exponents. 10 to the third plus 10 to the second exponent. That'll give me 10 to the fifth. So my answer looks like it would be 18 times 10 to the fifth. But remember, it's got to be in scientific notation, and scientific notation means the first number has got to be between 1 and 10. So I'm going to make that 1.8 by lowering the decimal by 10. So moving it one spot to the left lowers the decimal, lowers that value by 10. And if I'm going to lower it by 10, I got to increase this by 1, 10 to the 1 power. So that's going to be times 10 to the 6 power. So that way, my answer is going to be in scientific notation. So I'm going to have a nice answer of 1.8 times 10 to the 6. So if you haven't seen my videos on scientific notation, check them out. What is the sum of 6 times 10 to the third and 3 times 10 to the second in scientific notation? So we just did product. Now they want the sum of that. All right, well, the sum, in order to add these two numbers, you gotta have the same exponent. So the problem is we have an exponent that's a little short on the right side here, this little 2. I want to make that a 3. So if I make that a 3, 10 to the third, I would have to add 1 to this guy. So in order to make him 3. But if you remember, as I said a few minutes ago, by adding 10 to him, I have to do the opposite to the 3 by decreasing him by 10 so it'll balance. So that's going to become 0.3 when I move the decimal point to the left. It'll decrease by 0.3 by 10 and give us 0.3. So that'll give us the same exponent, but now I have a 0.3 as opposed to a 3, which is not in scientific notation. But what's good, I'm able to add the 6. I'm sorry. I'm able to add the 6 times 10 to the third to the 3.3 times 10 to the third. So the 6 plus 0.3, that'll give me 6.3, and my 10 to the third stays. So my answer is going to be 6.3 times 10 to the third. And that's what I'm looking for when I add this. So 6.3 times 10 to the third. So that's adding in scientific notation. If you haven't seen my videos on adding scientific notation with Dr. Rob, check it out. It's a good video. Whoa. All right, we have a multiple choice question. What is the value of the expression below? Okay. We got 2 to the negative 2 times, and that's elevated up to the negative third, and we're dividing that by 2 to the 4th power. We could use our calculators, but let's go over our laws of exponent rules. When we have exponent powers to another power, we multiply the exponents. So we have negative 3 times negative 2. So negative 3 times negative 2 gives us positive 6. So this is going to be equal to 2 to the 6th power just by multiplying those exponents. And we're going to divide that by 2 to the 4th power. So this is the second law where we subtract the exponents. So 2 to the 6th power minus 2 to the 4th power will give us 2 to the 2nd power. And 2 to the 2nd power is just another way of saying 4. So that's why our answer is going to be C. So a little exercise in laws of the exponent. Good work. Oh, here's something you should know. The area of a rectangle formula for area of a rectangle is what? That's good to know. Square root of 196. Good question. If you need help with your homework, there's Dial a Teacher hotline, homework help hotline, and that's area code 212-777-3380 between 4 and 7 p.m. So check it out. Give them a call. Watch Math Time on Tuesdays from 4:30 to 5 p.m. on Cablevision, channel 15, IO Digital Cablevision. So I hope you got something out of this, and hopefully you'll do well on your tests. And if you need to watch the video again, please do so. I hope you like us on YouTube, and I want to wish you all good luck on your tests. So do well. Watch the other videos if you haven't seen them yet. They'll really help you with this study video. This is Dr. Robinson signing off. I'll see you next time.